Hello folks. So today I wanted to speak about one of the most important transits of this year. But first, before I do that, a big thank you to those who have subscribed and to those who comment, and to the rest, well, you know where you can find the subscribe button to the right. Cheers. So, here I am, and I want to speak to you about Rahu's movement into Taurus and Ketu's movement into Scorpio. And this time I'm going to also touch on Ketu and not just concentrate on Rahu. I'm going to speak about how these shadow planets will impact each sign. Of course, remember, as usual, it's the general forecast. Whatever your dasha promises will take precedence and priority over the transits. So, for instance, if you're in Rahu dasha or Antar dasha, then certainly this Rahu transit will affect you more personally and more directly. I would advise that you listen to both your moon sign as well as your rising sign. One thing to take note of is the degree of the moon and the degree of the rising sign to notice when you will be most impacted. So for example, if your Lagna is at 3 degrees of Leo, you will then feel the Rahu transit in your 10th house most intensely when Rahu is near 3 degrees of Taurus. Give it 5 degrees here or there, right? So not exactly 3. It intensifies as it gets closer to the ascendant degree, but please also look at, in this case, not just 3 degrees, but up to 10 degrees. And the other way as well, when Rahu moves away, it's still influencing. So for example, your Leo Lagna, as I said, and your ascendant is 3 degrees, but what happens when Rahu moves into 29 degrees of Aries? Well, it's still influencing your 10th house, not yet your 9th house, for instance, yeah? Okay, so let's get started, yeah? We've seen a very strong Rahu transit in Gemini, which has managed to change how we connect with each other and the world. In typical Rahu fashion, the changes have been sudden, unexpected, unconventional, grand, and affected us on a mass level, which is what Gemini is. Particularly in areas of travel and commerce and the global economy, again signified by Gemini and Gemini's ruling planet Mercury. Now Rahu will enter Taurus on September the 23rd of 2020 and remain there until April 11th, 2022 for the usual 18 months. Please note that this is the mean node calculation. If you're seeing it from the true node angle, then the dates are September 19th, 2020 till March 17th, 2022. So a slight difference. Now, Taurus is considered a place of exaltation for Rahu. As Ketu, it's Scorpio. Because their highest and most positive attributes are expressed through these signs. Taurus is a sign where Rahu does exceptionally well and is very comfortable here. This will usher in a time when we can rebuild our lives in the most effective, stable, and prosperous ways with big improvements. We will also see more people being interested in eating well and putting aside savings, as this is another positive manifestation of Taurus. All themes connected with food will become of utmost importance during these 18 months. Yeah? And people will also spend more time with their families. These areas will see a positive and powerful transformation. Ketu is going into the sign where it co-lords with Mars. Scorpio, considered a comfortable place for Ketu. What is Scorpio? Well, it's a sign of unexpected changes, of trauma, the occult, spirituality, research, focus, uncovering secrets and mysteries of life. So we will likely see a transformation in health, in healing, research on diseases, perhaps more finances will be spent on this. So I think it's overall a good transit. Just be watchful for late March of 2021, where there's a conjunction of Mars and Rahu. It will be receiving Jupiter's aspect there, so it will mitigate some of the problems. We will again see Mars connecting with Ketu in mid-December. So again, a time to be watchful, but as I said, overall very good transit. I will give a brief summary about each sign. With the nodes, I only take Rahu as aspecting the 5th and 9th, similar to Jupiter. And similar to Jupiter, it will trouble the house where it sits with illusions and lack of clarity, and its aspect will break that illusion. So for example, if Rahu is in the 10th house, it may bring illusion and even confusion with matters related to career and status. But aspects to the 2nd and 6th house will take away that illusion through hard work. 6th house, and responsibilities toward wealth, 2nd house. So it's important to see aspects as they're just as relevant as where the planet is transiting. And of course, with any transit, especially if it's the big planets like Rahu, Ketu, Saturn, and Jupiter, see what is impacting in your chart. For example, with the Rahu in Taurus transit, if your 10th Lord is sitting there, well, it's going to impact your career. If your 7th Lord is sitting there, you may get married. Right? So you also have to see that if your 10th Lord is in Virgo, same thing, because from Taurus it's aspecting Virgo, but with lesser intensity. Whenever we have a conjunction, which is when the planet is connecting with other planets in your chart, so you've got 2 important planets in Taurus, well, the intensity is going to be stronger because there's a conjunction happening with Rahu. So whenever you have a Rahu transit going over your natal planets, you always have to check to see what those natal planets represent. It's even more significant if you're going through a dasha of one of those natal planets. Yeah? All right, so first, as usual, Aries. Rahu moves into your 2nd house in September, giving a boost to your income, but also could bring some adjustments to your family life. Be cautious with money and finances during this time. It's the 11th Lord in the 2nd house. You can expect changes in your finances or how you earn income. Pay attention to family life, as this can bring some challenges. Rahu will aspect your 6th and 10th house of career, bringing opportunities for new job or profession. Your career and profession should experience some kind of growth. Certainly some kind of change. If you've thought about getting a pet at any point, this is an excellent time to do that. Ketu in the 8th house is essentially 8th Lord in the 8th house, so be cautious in health matters and take it slow. So, Taurus, for you, Rahu moves into Taurus in September, giving you the courage to take big initiatives. It's in your 1st house, so it's going to bring desire to reinvent yourself or your life in a major way. You'll feel restless for making changes, and opportunities to do so will come quite suddenly. It's the 10th Lord in the 1st house, indicating changes with your image and profession are also possibilities. And it could open up a new life path. It's a good time to make that change. Don't resist. Rahu will aspect your 5th and 9th houses, so these areas will get a boost, bringing opportunities for higher studies. New business ventures will increase, and so will the desire to have children or set up your own business if you ever thought about doing that. Ketu transiting the 7th house could mean a separation from your partner, or it could mean that you feel a bit distant from this person. It could also be a disinterest just generally in relationships, or a personal relationship from the past may re-enter your life now. Gemini. For you, Rahu moves into the 12th house in September. 12th house represents expenses. This could mean that you may be spending a lot, mostly on travel, as its 9th lord moving into the 12th house. There are chances that you may be traveling or moving far away from where you currently reside. 12th house is also the house of seclusion, of isolation, charity. So giving things away you don't need is an excellent way to spend the transit, as well as donating to charity. It's a great time to let go of things, possessions, people, ideas, thoughts. Also a good time to relocate if you ever thought about doing that, or taking trips to unknown places. Moving to a far off, foreign location. Ketu is your 6th lord, so health matters could come up. Be watchful there. It would be an excellent time to create a new health and well-being routine. Yeah. Cancer, for you, this is a fantastic Rahu transit. It's moving into your 11th house in September, bringing much relief from the 12th house transit. It's a great place for Rahu, where Rahu can launch and execute its most cherished plans and goals. It's an excellent transit because it can boost your income, and it can play a major role to adding any kind of benefit in your life, any kind of material benefit. This 18th month period can also bring fame and prosperity your way. You can earn from multiple sources. There will be golden opportunities coming your way professionally. You're likely to receive benefits from different fields. Rahu will aspect your 7th house of marriage and 3rd house of ventures, so these areas will get a good boost, bringing opportunities for more income, marriage prospects, as well as creative and business initiatives. If you wanted to settle down, you'll have plenty of opportunities coming your way, especially if you are in Rahu Dasha or Antardasha, so socialize more and take some chances in love. If you want to start a business, excellent time for that as well. Rahu transiting the 11th house can increase your financial gains and can lead to a big jump in your network, circles, and friends. If you have a blog or website, you'll see a jump in popularity. Ketu will be transiting your 5th house. It may bring some changes in your business. Yeah. You may decide to start anew and go back to college or university, so would be a good time for that. If you ever thought about learning a new language with that Ketu in the 5th, it would be a great time to do that. Yeah. Leo, for you, Rahu is moving into the 10th house in September, giving you progress in career and new opportunities for growth, just generally. 10th house denotes your reputation, your deeds, your karma. This position can benefit you financially and also can bring changes in your life path, just generally, for the better, being that Rahu is in Taurus, a sign where it performs very well. Here you can achieve a lot if you put your energy into these things. Rahu will aspect your 2nd house of family and wealth, as well as your 6th house of service. So these areas will get a great boost, bringing opportunities for more projects. Savings, and could also be an additional member in your family. This is usually a positive Rahu transit that promotes more success in your career, your status, your image, your life purpose. If you're not employed, then it can make you busier than usual, taking care of various projects that come your way. If you're planning to become an entrepreneur, this is an excellent time to do it. It's a great time to seek a mentor. Great time for connecting with any higher-ups. Ketu in the 4th house can also mean that you leave your home country and move to a foreign country. It's a well-placed Ketu, so the new place will be favorable for you. And with the nodes, just generally speaking, for everybody, things happen very quickly. So you have to jump on the opportunities. Yeah. Virgo. For you, Rahu is moving into the 9th house in September. The 9th house represents beliefs. So this transit can get you to think beyond conventional beliefs and philosophies. This can be connected to work, your environment, your health routines as Rahu lords your 6th house, Aquarius. This house also represents travel, so you might also feel the urge to travel to a foreign country for the first time. There are chances of going on spiritual pilgrimages, so you might travel for that reason. Rahu will aspect your 5th house of children and 1st house of identity, so these areas will get activated, bringing the desire for having children, or perhaps changing your image and appearance. If you wanted to reinvent yourself, this is a good time to do that. Especially if you're in Rahu Dasha or Antardasha. Rahu's transit is especially good for creativity. It promotes education, learning, and teaching in the 9th house. Ketu moving through the 3rd house will make you courageous and active, so you will be keen to make changes in your life connected to the 9th house. What about Libra? Well, for you, Rahu is moving to your 8th house in September. Take care of your health during this transit. During this time, there can be a sudden decrease in your income and increase in your expenses, as Ketu will be transiting the 2nd house of income. You may also struggle to maintain good relationships with your family due to Ketu's transit here. Yeah. The transit will give you a serious perspective of life. It's a time of transformation and metamorphosis, so don't resist. It's also a time where you can get into research, occult, and easy to develop a good spiritual practice here if you choose to do that. You can change a job, your residence, or simply redefine some aspect of your life. It's your 5th lord in your 8th house, so it could bring some changes with your business. You may start a new business or completely change your current business. Change is good, but it's also good not to make changes purely out of a sense of urgency or restlessness. So I would say take your time and pay attention to your intuition and then take action. Rahu will aspect your 4th house of home and 12th house of seclusion. So these areas will get a boost, bringing opportunities for spiritual retreat, moving abroad, or changing residence. For Scorpio, Rahu moves into your 7th house in September, giving you a strong desire to get into a relationship. And if everything else is promised in your dasha sequence, then it would be a great time to do that. If you feel strongly attracted to someone, take your time to get to know them. If you're already in a relationship, keep communication open. Don't doubt their loyalty and try to give space to each other. Rahu will aspect your 3rd house of initiative and courage and 11th house of income, so these areas will get a great boost. Bring opportunities for more income and business prospects. If you want to start a business, excellent time for that. Great time to make any connections with others and join networking groups. Increase your social circle. Ketu in the 1st house will push you beyond your limits. It'll give you a very strong intuition, so trust your inner voice. Opportunities for business partnerships will also come your way, so great time to form alliances of all types. Sagittarius. For you, Rahu moves into your 6th house in September, bringing opportunities to learn about alternative health and healing. Rahu here can increase the vata in a person, producing a tendency to be more in your head than your body. So it's a good time to reinvent your health routines and try something new. For example, you might take a yoga class or get an acupuncture treatment, something you may have never tried before. Your career can get a boost. You're likely to be offered a job promotion, and you can easily beat any of your competitors to get this job. This is your 3rd lord in the 6th house, so great time to take risks. And you can do your own business now if you want to. With Ketu transiting your 12th house, be wary of expenses as they can increase. Ketu here will give you a spiritual bent and incline you to learn more about spiritual practices to manage your life more effectively. For Capricorn. Well, for you, Rahu is moving into your 5th house in September, which can cause some anxiety. Rahu is a planet of intensity and passion, so sometimes this can create powerful attractions to people. If this happens, there can be a feeling that the relationship is fated, or that you've been together before in a previous life, for example. It's especially good for creativity though, any sort of productivity that involves a technical element. Rahu transiting the 5th is excellent time to explore that. It's also good for writing and a variety of creative type of modalities. You can do well with investments as it's the 2nd lord moving through the 5th house. Also a good time to spend with family, especially kids if you have them. Rahu's aspect to your 1st house will make you feel the desire to reinvent yourself or to project yourself in a different way. You'll feel quite independent during this period and you'll feel less inclined to go with the crowd. Ketu moving through your 11th house may make you feel quite detached from your friends and your social circles. Your source of income may decrease, or at least you will need to think about different ways of making money. Yeah. Aquarius. For you, Aquarius moves into your 4th. For you, Rahu moves into your 4th house in September. This may make you feel restless at times. Because Rahu is transiting your 4th house, you may think of moving after September. This can also produce restless sleep, strange dreams, a little insomnia because it aspects your 12th house. It's also the house of meditation and seclusion. So sometimes this transit can produce an increase of thoughts during meditation. It would be a good time to take up a spiritual practice to manage those strange thoughts and dreams. It could also bring relocation abroad and travel to exotic places. If you want to relocate and make any big changes with your residence, you will have the opportunity to do that. Ketu in the 10th house, you may be less interested in your career and your image overall. You may also be thinking about starting a new path, taking new career paths, something completely different from what you're currently doing. Pisces, what's happening for you? Well, for you, Rahu is moving to your 3rd house in September, giving you the courage to take risks and take new initiatives. It's going to boost your confidence. Rahu will aspect your 7th house of marriage and 11th house of income, friends, social circle. So these areas will get a great boost as well, bringing opportunities for more income or more than one source of income. As well as a good time for relationships and marriage. So get out there and socialize. If you wanted to settle down, you will have plenty of opportunities coming your way, especially if you're in Rahu Dasha or Antardasha. It's a fabulous time to make lots of friends and your social circle will increase. You may get promoted and travel abroad. If you wanted to start a business, it's an excellent time to do that. This transit can prove to be financially beneficial and bring prosperity, but you have to act as that's the 3rd house. House of initiative. Also, it's a great time to write a book, to launch a website, or write blogs, as you'll get results in these areas. You may also receive more opportunities to connect with your siblings. 9th house Ketu transit will bring good fortune and may see you going back to university or relocating abroad for a dream job. Yeah? So overall, a good transit for you, Pisces. Well, that's all, folks. An excellent transit ahead, and we can look forward to exciting and positive change. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe button. All the best to you, folks. Cheers.